For sharing a message among her co-workers that criticized a mob action in May 2022, Rhoda Jatau has spent the last year in police detention on charges of blasphemy towards Islam. The healthcare administrator with the Warji local government area of Bauchi State was arrested a few days after forwarding a video condemning the burning to death of Deborah Yakubu, a student of the College of Education, Sokoto, another state, over alleged blasphemy. Prosecutors alleged that by sharing the video, Jatau, then 45, committed multiple offenses of inciting disturbance, contempt for religious creed, and cyber stalking. 2 weeks ago, a Bauchi State High Court rejected her no-case submission. Kola Alakwini, lead counsel at Abuja-based non-profit Foundation for Religious Freedom, who is familiar with the case, told Al Jazeera that the defense team is expected to make a case when the court sits again in December. If found guilty, Jatau, a mother of 5 and Christian, could be sentenced to a few years in prison, he said. The court's decision has sparked public outrage in parts of Nigeria, a country with a history of religious extremism. It really shows how far extremism has permeated deeply into our institutions. You will lock a person for just forwarding a message because you don't think that it favors what you believe in. I don't think that has any place in our society, said Ndi Kato, politician and executive director at Dinidari, an advocacy group for women's rights in the Middle Belt, as Central Nigeria is often referred to. When contacted by reporters, Rhoda's husband, Yao Adamu, simply said, "It is my lawyer that will speak on the matter." The lawyer was also contacted, but he told the correspondent that he would speak on the matter at a later time. However, some people in Katanga Warji who spoke on the condition of anonymity extolled Rhoda's virtues and described her as a peaceful woman. In reaction to the development, the Bauchi State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria said it was doing everything to intervene and ensure amicable resolution of the issue. According to Khan, the involved Christian bodies, especially Khan, should be allowed to conclude their negotiations with the relevant parties in the state, as elevating the situation could lead to confusion. So it's essential to approach it with caution. Reacting to the development, a prominent human rights activist and executive director, Council for Affirmative Action, Mbami Sapka, called on civil society organizations across the country to unite for an observation of the court proceedings on December 19th in Bauchi State, when the case of Jatau will be continued. Sapka said the call for action stemmed from the detention of Jatau for 18 months, expressing concern over what he described as delayed justice and alleging that selective treatment was being meted out to Jatau. He said she is charged with inciting public disturbance, contempt of religious creed, and cyber stalking. Jatau's prolonged detention has sparked public outcry, symbolized by the trending hashtag #FreeRhoda. The human rights activists emphasized the need for CSOs to unite against this perceived violation of justice, saying the call resonates with the broader public sentiment as netizens on social media have condemned Jatau's detention. He also called for a collective condemnation of both the selective justice against Jatau and the delayed justice in Deborah's case. The rights activists added the court observatory on December 19th, 2023 is envisioned as a unified stand against these injustices, and called on all concerned parties to join hands in ensuring a fair and impartial legal process. Also reacting to the development, the Center for Information Technology and Development, CITAD, urged the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, order the immediate and unconditional release of Jatau. The executive director of CITAD, Yunusa Yao, made the call during a press conference on the digital rights implications of our continued detention by the Bauchi state government over a social media post. Addressing the press at the CITAD office in Bauchi on Friday, Yao said, "You may all recall that on the 20th of May 2022, Mrs. Jatau was picked up at her residence by the Nigeria Police Force on the allegations of alleged incitement and inciting public disturbance. The police action was based on their perception of what her message could do. This action was directly infringed on her rights to freedom of expression and speech as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Her post, while perhaps strong in its language, did not incite violence or hatred. It was simply an expression of her opinion, a right guaranteed to her by our constitution. It is an outright abuse of her digital right to freedom of expression online. However, immediately after sharing the post, she was arrested and taken into custody. Her bail was consistently denied and she had been held behind bars ever since. This is not just an injustice to Rhoda, it is an attack on the digital rights of every citizen in this country. He added, denying some bail based on a social media post sets a dangerous precedent for our collective freedom and democracy. It sends a bad signal that the government can silence any dissenting voice if they deem it contrary to their own opinion. And if this trend continues, it will make people to be afraid to speak their minds, express themselves, and associate online for fear of being attacked, arrested, or molested by the Nigerian government or its agencies, as in the case of Rhoda's and many others. It is crucial to remember that Sections 38 and 39 of the 1999 Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution guarantee freedom of thought, conscience, religion, and expression. Additionally, the government of Nigeria is a signatory to various international human rights law instruments and treaties, including the African Charter and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which all hold the fundamental human right of the citizens of Nigeria. Rhoda's arrest and continued detention are a violation of our digital rights, and we cannot stand and do nothing while injustice is meted on one of us. As an organization working on the protection of human and digital rights of Nigerians, we strongly condemn the unnecessary adjournment and postponement of Rhoda's case hearing, which has been delayed 5 times since March 2023. We further denounce the rejection of our application for a no-case submission by her lawyers despite having no criminal history. We call on the federal government to immediately intervene and ensure the release of Mrs. Jatau without further delay, and Bauchi State government to order the Attorney General in the state to facilitate the release of Mrs. Jatau unconditionally. We call on the Nigeria Police Force to desist from arresting the citizens for exercising their constitutional rights online. We call on the media organizations nationwide to amplify the voices of Mrs. Jatau and others who face similar injustices at the hands of the Nigeria Police Force and other agencies. In another news, after 18 months in prison, Rhoda Jatau, a Bauchi woman who condemned the alleged killing of Samuel Deborah in Sokoto State, has regained her freedom. This is good news to all Christians and the civil society of Nigeria. Rhoda Jatau, a mother of 5 and a devout Christian, faces serious charges in Nigeria. She forwarded a video defending a lynched Christian student, Deborah, and was officially charged with blasphemy, inciting a mob, and exciting contempt of religious creed. Rhoda had been detained since May 2022 and had been held in prison awaiting the continuation of her trial for alleged blasphemy. Her court hearings were repeatedly postponed, and she faced the possibility of capital punishment under northern Nigeria's Sharia laws if convicted. According to a source, Jatau was released on bail on Friday following interventions by the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Nigeria Inter-Religious Council, and the Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria. The source, however, did not reveal bail conditions of which the court granted Jatau, but noted that the Inter-Religious Council had played a key role in securing her bail release.